Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. Today I am very excited to bring you an announcement video. I announced this over on my Instagram, Thoroughly Enjoyed Books, a few weeks ago now, and planned on getting a video up around the same time. I'd been quite ill at the end of November, so unfortunately I didn't get around to doing this announcement video until now. What I am announcing is that I'm starting a new book club in the new year. You might know that for the last couple of years I've worked on a project called Books About Bipolar. However, I've privated all of the videos in that series because I just wasn't 100% happy with them. I don't feel like I could have the nuanced discussion I wanted to have around the books I was talking about. And every now and then I just thought I didn't talk about this, I didn't talk about that, I left this bit out, and I just, like I said, I wasn't happy. I've decided that in 2021 it's coming back as a book club. Like with most book clubs, I will be choosing a book about bipolar every single month in the year of 2021, and then throughout that month I will read that book, make notes on that book, and then at the end of the month I will do a live show where I discuss that book, where I discuss the representation of bipolar in that book and just my general thoughts on it. The reason I do this is because I've mentioned before, I myself live with bipolar disorder, and it took me a very long time to come to terms with my diagnosis. Mostly because of the way that it is depicted in the media and because of other people I know who have this disorder. Now, what I wanted to do was talk about mental health in books a little bit more because it is quite, not trendy, I wouldn't say that's the right word, but it is quite prominent for people to discuss things like depression and anxiety in books on BookTube. But I feel like other mental health conditions aren't explored enough. It's almost like everybody says that, you know, we're there for you, I'm here for you when you're struggling with your depression until your symptoms show. And I felt like that with my bipolar disorder, and I feel like especially in books, it is pushed aside. Books About Bipolar started as a way for me to talk about other mental health disorders, particularly bipolar, which I can lend some experience to. I have a lot of thoughts about that in general, which I will talk about probably in videos related to this actually, but also I talk about on Twitter and Instagram anyway, so if you're interested in those discussions, do go and follow my links which are down below. I've chose bipolar because that is the mental health condition that I have and that I know quite a bit about, whereas other mental health conditions that I still don't think get enough recognition, such as schizophrenia, personality disorders, other things like that, I don't have that experience with, so I don't feel right making a book club about it. Bipolar, I can talk about my experience, doesn't talk for everybody's experience, I won't pretend that, and some people may have a different opinion from me or a different experience from me when I talk about these books, but that is why I want to do it, to bring more attention to bipolar disorder and just to start a discourse, start a conversation. What I will be doing at the end of each month is a live show. Now, I want to get as many of my BookTube friends involved in this as possible. I've messaged a few people who are going to be taking part in the live shows, co-hosting with me and have discussions over on Twitter. I think I'm going to start a Twitter account for it. I'm not 100% sure yet though. I might just start a hashtag because that'll be easier for me to keep up with, but I'm still looking for more co-hosts. So if you're interested in maybe co-hosting with me one month, do let me know in the comments down below because I just want as many people involved in this as possible. If you've got knowledge of mental health disorders, you're welcome to join. If you don't, you're also welcome to join. It'd be nice to have a vast array of people. As well as that, I am going to try and make the reading list as diverse as possible. And that's going to be race, sexualities, genders, all sorts of different identities who have written these books. So some of them will be non-fiction, some of them will be fiction. And I'm still learning. I'm still finding new books. I am finding it hard to find non-white depictions. So if you know any, please do let me know in the comments down below because I'll be really interested in those, and then hopefully I can get some of the other identities on the live shows as well to talk about their experiences or how they think the book discussed that identity. Like I said, everybody has a different experience, so nobody's word is gospel. However, there are people who are better at talking about gay experiences or people of colour's experiences because I don't have any of that, clearly. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and give you the first 4 months reading list for the book club in 2021. The first book is going to be Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. This is a book that I've wanted to read for so long, and I'm so excited to finally have an excuse to read it. It's not necessarily an excuse, it's just some time that I can put aside to read it. But this book has been recommended to me so many times. I'm rubbish at character names, so I probably won't mention them in this. But this is about a girl whose stepbrother has recently found out that he has bipolar disorder, and it's kind of started to affect the family negatively. So she moves back in with him. However, he is white and she is black, and it looks at the intersections of that, how everyone has a different experience of that, and I don't know too much else about it. I just know that this is one that has got a lot of praise. I've been told the bipolar representation in this is fantastic. I've been told that the black representation in this is also very good. So this is going to be the first book of the book club. I'm very much looking forward to getting this. I don't have my copy yet. I'm going to wait until after Christmas, but I'm very excited for this to be the first book. In February, the book is going to be Marbles by Ellen Forney. Now, this is a graphic memoir, and I do have a co-host for this one already, which I'm really excited about, and I cannot wait to get to this one either. It is own voices, and like I said, it's a graphic memoir, so it's non-fiction, but written in a graphic novel style, and it just explores the author's experience with their mental health. I think this is a great one for people with a different mental health conditions to get involved with, because I think it looks at more than just bipolar. I think it looks at depression as a whole and looks at society's view of mental health in general. It just so happens that the author has bipolar disorder, so I think this will be a great one to do in February. In March, we're going to be looking at The Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. This is a very interesting one to me because it is going to be a reread for me, and I actually read this book shortly before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder for the first time. I think this book is one of the reasons I was in so much denial about my bipolar disorder. This book looks at the main character who has just been sectioned, and he's being released after a manic break. He found his wife cheating on him, his wedding song was playing, and now those are his triggers. And it looks at him coming back into the community, how he is received because of his mental health, and how he gets along with other people and relationships. And I very much enjoy this book, and I love the film, which stars Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, but I do think it is quite difficult to read, and it is a book that I want to reread now that I have come to terms with my bipolar disorder, because I don't think it's necessarily problematic in its depiction, but I think the depiction could be damaging, and I have complex thoughts on it, so that's why that is my March book. And then the last book I have is An Unquiet Mind. This is by Kay Redfield Jameson. Now, this is another non-fiction memoir, so what I've tried to do is have a different type of book each month. This is the first one that is a straight up memoir written in prose, and I'm very much looking forward to this one, but again, I think this is going to be a difficult one. I think it is going to look at suicidal ideation and the really severe ends of bipolar disorder, because at the end of the day, bipolar disorder is a disorder of extremes. I purposefully haven't looked too much into what each of these books is about, because I don't want that to have too much influence on the books that I pick. I don't want to pick books that are just generally lauded, and I don't want to pick books that are just generally criticised. I want to have a good mix of books that may have not the best depictions, because I want to critique that, I want to discuss that, I want to discuss the reasons why this could be improved or that could be improved, or why that was good representation or why that was bad representation. And I also want to talk about how positive representations and negative representations don't necessarily mean it's bad representation, if that makes sense, because I think a lot of people conflate the idea of, if something depicts a mental health disorder in a negative light, a lot of people will say that's bad representation. However, I don't think that is the case, because sometimes, particularly with bipolar, mental health is messy, and you need to be aware of those messy sides when you're discussing mental health, because it's not all sunshine and roses, it's not all something that can be cured easy peasy. So those are the first 4 books of the Books About Bipolar book club. I really hope that you want to read some of these and get involved. I will leave links down below to where you can get all of these books and read a little bit more about them if you want to. Like I said, I'm going to avoid reading too much into them. I do still also need some more volunteers to host the live shows with me. If you're interested in that, leave your links down below. I'd be really interested to see who wants to do one. Like I said, I want to get as many different identities represented as possible. If you have any book recommendations for the rest of the year, please do let me know, because I haven't finalised it yet. Make it as diverse as possible with your recommendations, because like I said, when I've been researching this, it has been a very white, very male-centric area, and I want to branch out of that a little bit more. I'm also interested in maybe doing a bipolar Q&A about my experience with my mental health, because as I've mentioned, this is something that I have dealt with for a long time. I was diagnosed when I was 20 for the first time, and then 23 I was re-diagnosed because, as I mentioned, I didn't accept my diagnosis, and that is the reason I'm so passionate about this topic. I'll be posting the dates for the live shows over on my Twitter, and I'll probably mention them on my YouTube channels as well, either in my TBRs or maybe my wrap-ups at the end of the month. I will give plenty of notice for when the live shows are going to be. Obviously, it depends on the co-hosts as well as myself. Some months it might be at a weekend, other months it might be midweek, but it'll always be towards the end of the month, and it'll always give you plenty of time to get the book and read the book and form your thoughts on it as well. I'm really excited for this project in 2021, and I cannot wait to have you guys on the journey with me. If you've got any questions, do leave them down below. I will get to them as soon as I can, and as usual, my links are in the description as well. You can come and follow me on Twitter and Goodreads and Instagram, all that good stuff. Come and talk to me about books and check for updates on the book club, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon. Take care. Bye.